Hi there, leapfroggers, and welcome to the Steaming Toad once again. This is the show that puts a frog in the blender and presses the puree button. Today we salute one of Australia's foremost thinkers about climate and one of our great broadcasters on the issue, Alan Jones. The parrot Alan went recently on record and said that climate concerns are fiction. It's a fiction. It's a total fiction. That's a fact. It's a fiction. I'll be saying more on this later. It's a fiction. And then he went on to compare climate problems with Alice in Wonderland. That sort of fiction. It's a fiction. I've told you before, it's a fiction. It's a fiction. It's a fiction. Of course it's a fiction. That's a fact. More on that later. Alice in Wonderland. I'm joined to discuss this exciting literary thesis by the Professor of Parrotology at Wollongong University, Professor Amanda Keller. Now, Professor Keller, is the parrot Alan Jones right?
He's always right, obviously. He's always right. I do like the notion, though, that if someone has no knowledge at all of science, turn the debate to literature.
Yes.
Because let's face it, it's much easier to debate something that you've read in a book than having to go through all the boring sciencey bits. I myself am not particularly au fait with Alice in Wonderland. I haven't read it for a long time. What's the story?
Well, it's a beautiful story about a bored girl who seeks adventure, and she goes down a sort of hole, an idea of a portal. And inside this world, this fictionalised world, there are great characters like Tweedledum and Tweedledee, the Mad Hatter, the Cheshire Cat, and so on. What I want, Queen of Hearts, my favourite. Now, look, what I want to know is how do these figures, Tweedledum, Tweedledee, the Queen Hatter, the Mad Hatter, etc., play a role in climate science, in climate change? They don't appear to at all.
No, it doesn't scream science or climate change at all to me. I think a book that is much closer to the climate change debate is the vast works of Jackie Collins.
Oh yes, Jackie Collins. What's some of her favourite? The Stud?
The Bitch was another.
Oh, The Bitch,
Language.
yes.
Didn't like that one so much. No. But here's why I think weather, climate, even though they're different things, as we know,
yes,
and Jackie Collins are all tied up together. You have giant heaving storm fronts.
Yes.
You have thrusting tornadoes.
Yes.
Everyone is isobarring up constantly, and it all ends up with a lot of wet stuff. Now, why Alan can't see the correlation between Jackie Collins and climate change is beyond me.
No. Well, that is a very accurate impression. In fact, I wonder that that's not taught in climate science as a reference book, a background reading book for all students in the subject.
Wouldn't you think? Wouldn't you think?
Look, I've got two to suggest. I think Ian Fleming's Dr. No is a perfect example. Here we have an international conspiracy run in the background trying to take over the world. The only thing that stands between a future as bleak as the planet Mars and what we have now is Alan, who is James Bond. It's as simple as buggery when you get down to it. Alan carrying the forward, the standard forward for the whole of civilization. It's great. The other one is...
What's your other one?
Well, the other one's The Cat in the Hat, the Zeus Kids book, which seems to me a parable of climate change writ large.
How?
Well, the kids allow the cat loose. The kids being obviously humankind, allow the cat loose, being some sort of, genie out of the bottle sort of figure, to run amok in the house. And then, when it's all just falling away, back comes the threat of parents returning home, and mercifully the genie tidies everything up and it's, hey presto, it's all tickety-boo. What we're not sure is how the last bit's going to happen.
And we're thing one and thing two. I think Alan's probably got a thing for thing one and thing two. I'm surprised he hasn't clued onto these ones.
But almost any piece of fiction works. Charles Dickens' A Tale of Two Cities. I mean, there's a story of climate change. Two cities, two ideas, London and Paris. That's all you've got.
How about Max Walker's How to Hypnotise a Chook?
Perfect.
Perfect.
If you need more ideas, you know where to find them, right here on the Steaming Toad. See ya.